Good evening, everyone, and welcome to TMA's 2024 International Annual Patient Conference. Nancy is a Baltimore local who also is down in Florida with me too, but she has been instrumental in planning our conference here. She is going to share her story and introduce our keynote speaker. So please welcome Nancy Marks Erickson to the stage.
Thank you, Lori. Wow, it's great to see everybody tonight. And I'm going to say good evening. Some of you know me. I am Nancy Marks Erickson. I'm an IBM patient. I was diagnosed with IBM in 2015. I probably had symptoms of this chronic incurable disease in 2013. Living with IBM for the past 10 years has made even simple tasks that we take for granted difficult. All myositis patients have learned we need to adapt physically, emotionally, and mentally. Like many of you, I'm a patient advocate. I help lead the Women with Color Affinity Group. We have over 400 women throughout the US and Canada. We educate and we empower women as we travel our daily IBM journey, not knowing what new daily challenges we need to deal with as we stay positive and resilient. I have the honor tonight to introduce our keynote speaker, Jessica Buchanan. Jessica likes to refer to herself as a normal girl who grew up in a cornfield in Ohio. Today, you will have the pleasure of discovering that she is so much more. She's a teacher, author, humanitarian, speaker and survivor, and has her own publishing company focusing on discovering the possible in the impossible. On October 25th, 2011, while on a routine field mission helping others remove explosive landmines in Somalia, working as the educational advisor for her non-governmental organization, Jessica was abducted with a coworker at gunpoint and held for ransom by a group of Somalian pirates for 93 days. Forced to live outdoors in deplorable conditions, starved and terrorized by more than 24 gangsters, Jessica's health steadily deteriorated until, by order of President Obama, she was rescued by SEAL Team 6 on January 25th, 2012. Her best-selling book is available, recounting this horrendous ordeal. I think the number one rule my colleague and I made at the beginning of this ordeal, Jessica has written, was we can feel any emotion, fear, anger, rage. But despair was not an option, because we knew once we got to that point, there was no turning back. We would tell ourselves and tell each other every day that we will get through this. I think anybody who finds themselves in some sort of situation such as this, where complete control is taken away from you on the outside, you struggle to find some sort of control on the inside. Every morning became about establishing a routine, which was difficult because we moved around so much as 40 or 50 times. Paula Eichenbrenner, Executive Director of the Myositis Association, personally asked Jessica to be the keynote speaker. Why? Because we, myositis patients, share the life coping and survival and resilience Jessica Buchanan obtained during her horrendous 93-day ordeal in Somalia. Lessons she is so capable of sharing with us. Those of us who live each day with myositis have not been captured by Somalian pirates. But like Jessica, we know that falling into the emotion of despair is not an option. Did you know, Jessica likes to quote, you are 6 times more likely to demonstrate strong resilience in the middle of a life-changing event if you can identify your autonomy and choices within that change. A principal self-educational reason for each of us to achieve supportive participation in the Myositis Association is to help one another demonstrate strong resilience in the middle of a life-changing event and identify our autonomy and choices within our daily myositis journey. Please stand if you are able and welcome the keynote speaker for the Myositis Association, Jessica Buchanan. Thank you. It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you. It's day 92 in the desert. I think the date is January 24th, but I just can't be sure anymore. I think it's around 3 o'clock in the afternoon because the sun is beginning to drop down to the right side of my mat, and I wonder, how many more 3 o'clock suns am I going to stare at from out here? I'm still the only woman living amongst dozens of Somali men. I'm in some of the most intense pain I've ever experienced in my life, and as I drag myself to a nearby bush to be sick, these men who've taken me away from everything I know mock me. They laugh at me. I'm a source of entertainment for them. The leader of the group, a man who calls himself Abdi, comes over to me and commands me to put on a hijab to cover up my blonde hair. He's tossing a brand new, shiny AK-47 from one hand to the other. He's always in my face screaming, "Where is big money?" I try to explain to him for what feels like the millionth time, I'm a teacher by profession. I'm a humanitarian aid worker. I am a woman of very little means. There is no big money. He commands me to follow him out into the desert. I can feel the sun just beating down on my head. I feel the soft fabric of my headscarf. I can smell his sweat. We walk for 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and then he stops abruptly, and he drops down onto the ground, and he picks up a stick, and he draws a number 7 in the sand. And then he takes the stick, and he drags it across his neck, and he says, "Your people have 7 days to come up with $18 million or..." Tears begin streaming down my face as I comprehend the reality that I actually don't have any reason not to believe him. And then he cocks his head to one side and looks at me curiously and says, "Why are you crying?" And I say simply, "Because I'm not ready to die."